Peace, brothers and sisters who have arrived here on this channel. My name is Ricardo Garcia, and I've spent the last decade believing in an impending rapture. What now? Doesn't it seem that we are striving or trying to hold on or clinging into this rapture, this escape that is taking us to the limit of our fate after so many years waiting, expecting, believing in the rapture of the church? We're going to talk about that on this video. So, yes, my name is Ricardo Garcia, and I have been doing videos about this for over 10 years already. Here is my newest channel, the one that I started doing videos in English as well. You have here many content, things that we believed as signs that took us to where we are right now. So many signs, so many things that took place, so many understanding and information that we didn't know before about the Bible, about the end times that took us where we are right now, especially the ultimate timeline. This is a part here where I have on my channel here the playlist called Start Here for you to understand why our time is running out. The ultimate timeline is based on historical data, astronomical evidence, and information that took us to believe where we are right now. There are so many content, but this didn't start here. Before this channel, I told you guys in previous video, I used to have this channel here that for 3 years was blocked, but I was doing videos here for many, many years. So if you go back all the way down to the videos that I usually used to make in Portuguese only, you will see here that I had 8 years ago the first live stream of this channel, but in videos. I used to make videos instead of making live streams. And I started doing live streams because it's easier, as I'm doing right now. But in videos, you can go back all the way to 10 years ago, talking about the end is coming. 9 to 10 years ago. So it's been a decade since I started doing videos about it, and more than a decade since I started believing in this. And there's a huge difference between knowing the path, knowing the end, and walking, believing in the end, which is something that I actually did. I didn't just know that this was coming and lived regardless of it. I understood it was coming and I believed like it was coming. So I lived my life through this. I've done all the things that I did in my life in the past decade was because of the rapture of the church. I spent literally the last decade believing that we didn't have much time left, at most 6 months, and I lived my life through it. So because of this situation here, I wasn't able to do long-term projects. I wasn't able to live the life like people usually live on this earth, believing they will have enough time to grow old and start a business or a family and go and have kids and grandkids and so forth. People believed, or people believe in this, and I didn't. I always believed I had at most 6 months and even less most times. So I lived my life through this, and as we can say, I am dealing with the consequences of believing like this. So this video is going to be a little bit different from those you are used to watch here on my channel, because I want to talk about this feeling, the feeling that Moses went to the top of the mountain and it's been 50 days and he hasn't come back yet. Moses is all the way up there, and people all around us are already talking about that he died, that he won't come back. It's been 50 days. Who can live without food or water for 50 days in a desert, the top of a mountain? So this feeling that I am feeling right now, and I have been feeling for some weeks, I believe a lot of people here especially those that watch or have been watching my channel, is feeling as well. The feeling that we are at the edge, the feeling that we have been waiting for so long for this to take place. We have been watching so many signs that we can't possibly count anymore. Some people in my previous video even said, who cares about another sign? We have been watching for so long. It doesn't even matter anymore. And I understand this feeling completely. I understand the feeling that we have been watching for so long and all of the dates, especially those that were so strong, have passed. Why does it matter? Will it ever happen? Or are we trying to catch the wind, trying to find the invisible man, for example, that we can't see? So I know this feeling. I have been feeling this feeling, especially now that we are so late in the hour that I have been showing you guys. And I want to talk a little bit about it. For me, it all started with a dream that woke me up in the middle of the night. I was all sweating and I had this first experience with God telling me that the world would end in 2015. And since that video, since that dream that I had, I have been watching. I saw the lunar tetrads that started here in 2014 and 2015. And then in the late 2015, I started doing videos, and then it took me to the Revelation 12 sign in 2017. We were sure that would happen. It took us to 2018, and then the 2019 and 2020 experiment on the world took place. We knew that the tribulation was about to happen, but we're still here in 2025, almost 2026. And it's been 10 years since I haven't accomplished things that people on my family or friends from high school are accomplishing, and I haven't because I was expecting the end. And this feeling, it's hard to deal with this feeling, and I know many have been feeling it as well. The feeling that maybe we are all wrong, maybe it won't happen, maybe he won't come back. People are talking about it. It's been 50 days. Logically, in a human nature, nobody can survive 50 days on a desert without water or food. And we understand this feeling, but we do have to look that the divine inspiration that Moses had in the top of that mountain made him survive, made him alive. And indeed, he went down from that mountain exactly 50 days when people stopped believing, when people stopped thinking that he would come back, when they started to worship a golden calf. That's when Moses went back, especially 50 days after he went. And I believe that what's been happening is that we are in such a late hour that most people will start to think that the rapture won't happen. Most people will look at signs and look at the things happening in the world and think that it doesn't matter anymore because it didn't matter for so many years and signs and things that took place on earth. Why would it matter right now in the winter when there's no more strong feasts ahead of us? Why would it matter if it didn't for the past 10 years? So I believe we are exactly feeling the same feeling that the Israelites were feeling when Moses went out for 50 days. That this could not happen, but that's exactly when it happens. And this could be a moment for us to think about it. So I have been showing you guys this rapture window that we were hoping for. And of course, we passed the November through December through time of Noah, and it's not here anymore. And now it's showing for us December 15th or tomorrow up to December 22nd, which is the Jewish feast of Hanukkah starting, a possibility, then the true feast of Hanukkah in January, and that's the last of it. That's the last of it before the rapture limit that we have been watching and expecting for February 20 of 2026, because the tribulation must take place by the 1st of April in order for it all to fit in the narrative, in the story that we have been watching for the ultimate timeline, for this timeline that we studied so much and we understand that history and astronomy and other things are pointing to it. And we can't possibly think to go through this without so much falling off that he wouldn't matter anymore. And the feeling is already here. The feeling is already present. And I know many of you, just like me, have been so frustrated for so long and watching everything crumbles down in our life around us, especially seeing people that 10 years ago, I will tell you guys this story here. Perhaps I should uh, give my camera here in order for you guys to watch or see me talking here. Maybe it's become more personal. Because I have this story here of something that took place 10 years ago that I really want to share with you guys. And it's a feeling that I have been feeling. It's been hard to shake it off. Let me just finish here the webcam in order for you guys to see me talking with you guys. So, yes, here I am. There you go. So, what has been happening here to me is this feeling. 10 years ago, a friend of mine from high school, uh, when I came back from the United States, talking about the end times here, so this part of my life, all the way there in 2015, that I was sure the end was coming because I received a dream about it, a dream that told me the end was supposed to come in 2015. And when I came back home in September that year, I was talking to everybody I knew, especially those friends from high school. And I had this friend from high school denying everything that I was talking about, denying that I could possibly be correct about this stuff, or denying my dream. He didn't believe the Bible. He merely believed God existed. He doesn't know anything about the Bible or at all. He doesn't have information. Didn't know about the Tetra. Didn't know about anything. He still doesn't know. Regardless, 10 years ago in 2015, as I was talking to everybody about the end, he came to me and said, "Dude, forget about it. It won't happen. I'm telling you, it won't happen. Let's make a bet. Let's do a bet. 10 years from now, and 10 years goes by very fast. We'll all be here together. We're going to talk about it, and nothing would have happened." And I was so sure of myself about the end taking place in 2015, or at most in the few years ahead of 2015, maybe 2016, 17, especially when I saw the Revelation 12 sign here and the tetrads. I was so sure about it that I did this bet. I was like, okay, I'm sure it won't happen. We won't be here by 10 years ahead of time. And a few weeks ago, I remembered of this bet. And we've been through 10 years. It's been 2025. And we are still here, guys. He's already married. He has a kid. He's in a good job, in a position, in a good city, in a good town, living by himself and his wife. He's okay. He's good in life. He didn't even remember the bet that we did, but he's okay. He's doing fine. He doesn't know anything that we studied. He doesn't care. Don't know the science. Don't know the Bible. He doesn't know anything. probably received a shot here in 2019, 2020, and he's still alive, he's still doing fine, he's still walking his life. And I couldn't shake this feeling off. The feeling that he was right and I was wrong. The feeling that I believed something because of a dream that was so real for me. I believed something that took place in my life, and I followed this feeling, followed the signs. I followed so much and I studied so much and I presented this so much in order to be here 10 years after I started doing this, having this feeling of, wow, what I did with my life, where I am right now. Will this ever happen? Or am I just trying to catch the wind? Am I just trying to, I don't know, get to something that we won't get? We're expecting a help from above, but are we sure that we are indeed in the time frame that we have been expecting? The story that has been told to us, is this correct? Or some king in the Middle Ages removed 200 years from time and we are 200 years ahead of time? But what about the astronomical evidence? We can't know for sure. But I know this feeling that I can't shake it off. That's why I haven't been able to do videos for you guys for 3 weeks. I was feeling down. I was sick also. My family, my whole family was sick. I had to take antibiotics. My wife just finished taking antibiotics. We were sick. But not just physical. I was also emotionally sick, spiritually sick. I couldn't I couldn't possibly know what to say to you guys. I didn't know what to talk about. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to present. I don't want to make videos just out of sensationalism, as many do on the internet. If you just search about end times 2025, let's put 2026, you see plenty of videos of people affirming that will happen and that the Lord showed them 2027, 2028, and they will keep on doing this forever because they make money, they earn money by views, by making people remain on their channel, remain watching their revelations, their things. And I don't want to do this. I never wanted to do this. My channel wasn't even uh, monetized. I received many, many views. I had videos here with over 200,000 visualizations, 200,000 views here, many videos here, 8 years ago, 6 years ago. All of these views, they weren't monetized. I didn't receive a single penny for it because I believed I was doing something that didn't matter because the rapture was to happen. I didn't receive a single penny. I know people took some of my videos, placed on their channel, received even more views. I know that I had a video that I did that had over 1 million views. Probably the channel that took my video 100% made money on it, but I didn't receive a single penny on it because I wasn't working for YouTube. I wasn't working to be a streamer or to be an influencer. I was just presenting my belief on the internet that the end was coming. And I know all of this wouldn't matter. But we're still here in 2025. And regardless of what we did and what we believe and what we thought, 10 years did matter. Many people did a lot of things in 10 years. They built things. They built a family. They built an empire. They built businesses. They created things while we were here, believing we wouldn't be here. And we are approaching 2026. For me, it's been hard to keep on doing all of this. And this feeling here, it's so hard. It's so harsh on me. So I'm opening up here to you guys about it because it's been hard, and I know a lot of you guys are feeling the same. Especially those that have been watching for so long now. Because it's hard to deal with this. I was watching the video from Dr. Barry All. I haven't finished it yet. He's talking about the Hanukkah rapture starting tomorrow for 7 days. It's a possibility, yes. We are watching this possibility here, indeed. It is a possibility for us. And it's the last strong feast of it all to be watching. I hope it does happen. I hope we are not complaining, but I hope we are talking about here on the internet just a few days before the rapture. I really hope it does, because all that's my whole bet. That's why I've been waiting and expecting for a whole decade. And it's been hard. It's been very hard, especially to see friends that said 10 years ago that nothing would have happened, and now they are, well, let's put it that way, and nothing had happened. So it's been hard. It's been hard. I wanted to show you guys that all of the videos, or not all of the videos, but at least all of the years that I have been doing here. This computer here is a new computer, but here you can see 2021, 2, 3, 4, 5. The previous ones, because it's too heavy on the computer, are in a different computer here on my external hard drive. But you see here in 2024 what I was talking about. So I have here the PowerPoint for December of the year. Let me show you guys what we were talking about December last year. So we saw some things happening here in the skies, the glowing balls happening in the skies here. We had some videos of people filming it. It's been a year, nothing happened so far. We were talking about the economists as well. We always talk about the economists. Nothing happens. Some videos here. We were talking about this, and there's something to talk about this. I will even copy here and place it on on my current PowerPoint in order for us to talk about it in a few minutes. So would this be the X Christmas? Would this be, or last year's Christmas, would this be the Christmas that the complete blackout happens in the world and the Antichrist appears in the scene? We were talking about it. We were talking about it. We had this. We were talking about the calendars, the different calendars, and how we were approaching here 2024, 2025 here. See, we were talking about it. Here were my kids. I indeed had a family, right? So most of you guys know that I also married. I had a family. I didn't build an empire. I didn't build businesses that are long lasting. I've been surviving through support from people from the channel. There's a lovely family here that I thank so much for helping, assisting me through all this time in being able to do this. And I truly love them for this. They are a family that watches me constantly, and I'm truly grateful for them to being here on my life, existing here in our lives, because they made a huge difference for us. We survived through them, and we still are surviving through them. So they were able to help us through all of this because we have been doing and believing this. So these were them. They are much taller now. They are 2 years, almost 2 years and 3 years, this boy. So we are watching here the constellations, explaining how they work. Some I didn't turn to be a video. So I had this. Do not forget we are in prison. Nobody saw this. This is just a thumbnail that I never used. So this was 2024. In 2023, in December, we were also talking about this clock, the debt clock that appeared in relation to our sign. Possible dark December. This was the topic of that month, 2023. Also talking about the possible blackout on Christmas because of the movie from Barack Obama that took place. I believe my video is twitching out, right? There's some problems here with the cam. So The Black Christmas here, 2023. We had just the boy. He was few months old, and the girl was in the belly. We're talking about rapture being people talking about the calling for rapture being a cry wolf thing. Is rapture watching crying wolf? Can we shake this feeling off after 2 years after this video? It's hard. It's almost 3 years. 2026 will be 3 years since the video. So last possibilities here. We're watching the last possibilities up to April as well, 2024. Here, the 7 years agreement must happen by 2024. It didn't. But some things did take place that made us believe, right? The flood. So every year, oh, I remember this thumbnail as well. Every year, we always look at every main biblical feast to be the possibility for the rapture. And it has been this for many years. And many rapture watching brothers and sisters on the internet, they do exactly this. They keep on going from feast to feast, expecting, believing, and when it crosses, they believe the next year from feast to feast and so forth. So much so that I know everything that has to know about all of these feasts. I know that Hanukkah, they are talking about the fourth day of Hanukkah. Lazarus was resurrected, so the church, which is type of Lazarus being resurrected, could take place the resurrection of the church with the rapture, because Lazarus in Greek is the same as Eliezer in Hebrew, which is God's helper or Holy Spirit. And from Passover, the ninth month takes us to Hanukkah's month. So there's all these talks that it's always repetitive, right? It's always the same year after year after year, because we have been doing this for so long. So we know what we're going to talk about. We know what Pastor Sandy is going to talk about. We know what the Dr. Barry All is going to talk about. I know it. I know it. I predicted, and it's true. We get to the same period of time here. Here, the first time he clapped. I remember this video. The first time the boy clapped. Very nice. So the Book of Jubilees, we watched the Book of Jubilees to believe that the 17th day of the second month, which just passed, could have been the moment of the rapture, but we just passed it. What else here? Why is the camera flickering here? I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe the gamma. I don't know why the camera is flipping here. I think it's that. So yeah, we have been watching for so long. We have been presenting you guys with so much information. Every Christmas we expect a blackout because of the movies, because of the things that they showed on series, movies, propaganda. We expect alien invasion. We have been expecting for many years already. I've been talking about it for so long. But I want to get to the point where in 2020, I believe it's 2022, 2022 English version. So many information, so many things. Oh, we're talking about Hanukkah as well. Here's a chart as well. Every year it repeats itself. Feast of Lights, Hanukkah, 2022. Most likely the feast of the conception of Christ. Feast for dedication of the temple. Lazarus was resurrected probably on the fourth day of Hanukkah. Feast of the miracle of the oil. 40 days since the beginning of the flood. falls on the 4th day of Hanukkah. Month of Kislev is the 9th month, prelude to birth. Hanok is Enoch, the first man raptured. So, 2022 we were talking about this. 2022 we were expecting and believing Hanukkah, and we believe 2023, 2024, and now 2025 as well. If we're here next year, guess what they're going to talk about in Hanukkah 2026 is the same. We're talking about Israel, 1947, the sowing, creation, 1948, independence, 1949, foliage, and now it's been 77 years since independence, right? So 48 plus 70, 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Yes, on the 14th of May in 2026, they will turn to 78 years old of independence. But in January, they will turn 77 years of government. So it's another possibility for us, right? They are believing here in the January, possibly rapture, or up to at most February. They are going to be 77 years since government, 77 years since independence. They will match 77. So it's a possibility for us here, right? Let's go back here. So we were talking about, we always look at this, we're talking about all of this, all of the beliefs from Pastor Sandy, Steve Fletcher. I don't watch Steve Fletcher anymore. What's the name of that channel? Supernatural by Design. He stopped making videos as well. I haven't been seeing here for a while. Got a minute. I still watch his videos. He's looking towards 2026. And then there's some channels here that I don't watch anymore. 1111, look. So many things. 17 in the second month, possibility. Seals marked in the skies. Whoa. That's the year Brazil fell to communism. We're still under this influence here. Next year will be terrible for us. Will be terrible. I really hope not to be here next year. But there's nothing I can do, unfortunately. We're watching the Second World War, similar scenario to the Third World War. We're having watching so much here. The lunar eclipses with solar eclipses matching the middle point 2022, yet nothing happened. Yeah, there's so much here that we have been watching, showing, understanding. There's the Economist as well. So much that we have been showing you guys. And it's been hard. It's been hard to keep on going. I don't think I will be able to keep on going much further. For me, I believe up to April or May, which will be the true Passover time frame next year. For me, honestly, that will be my last moment for me here. Probably the last moment on my channel as well, if we're still here, because after that, we'll reach such a huge historical pattern that we couldn't even understand anymore if we are on the year that we think we are. And from that part on, it wouldn't matter much to understand what's been happening. So it's been hard. It's been hard. And I have something here that it's a part of the video that was in Portuguese and not in English. Here, this one I talk later, but it's this part here. This part here, I believe I started doing in 2022, because before it was like this part here. We believe that the 7 years started from 2015 when the UN signed the 2038 agenda. So that we believe that began on September of that year, September of 2015, started the 7 good years, or the 7 fat cows years, the 7 years of science. We indeed had many signs from that point on. That would end in September 2022. So we were in 2022, we were talking about this, and we were expecting the tribulation to start in the fall of 2022 and end in 2029 here, right? So from here to here. We were talking about this and expecting this, and we were showing the signs, the lunar tetrad from 2014 to 2015, the Revelation 12 sign, the stars of Bethlehem, and the lunar tetrad from 2021 to 2022. Let me see if it's still good. So after 2020, 2021, we saw the beginning of the health passport. That would be the eventual mark of the beast. So we had all of the signs pointing to 2022 to start the tribulation. After it passes, in 2023, we understood that there is 1 year of transition. So from the fall of 2022 to the fall of 2023, that's the year of transition, which by the fall of 2023, that's when the tribulation should have started, especially because we saw that on the fall of 2023, the UN would do a confirmation and acceleration of the UN 2030 agenda for 7 more years. So wow, that's the pact. That's the Antichrist pact. So in the fall of 2023, that's when the tribulation would start. And the rapture should happen before it. So we were expecting the whole year 2023, the rapture of the church, because we knew this was to happen. And we've been to 2023, we saw the world digital currency, they preparing the world religion, the Abrahamic family house they create there in Abu Dhabi. They created this the Jewish temple, the Catholic church, and the mosque, the Islamic mosque, in a place there to be the Abrahamic family house. So the one world religion is ready, the health passport, the beginning of the market beast is ready, the Third World War is already 1 year after the beginning of it. So we were expecting 2023 and nothing happened. So how did we pass this? Well, after 2023 passed, we saw that on the fall of 2024, the UN would actually create this pact for the future. Who remembered this? Who remembered the pact for the future in the fall of 2024? We were talking about this because the confirmation and acceleration of the 2030 agenda wasn't a pact. And then in 2024, we saw that there will be a pact for the future. Literally, they called it the pact for the future. So we knew it. The pact for the future is the beginning of the tribulation. So we shifted a little bit here, the understanding, in order for the fall of 2024 to be the beginning of the tribulation. So the 7 good years started after 2015 in 2016. It ended in 2023 for the confirmation and acceleration of the 7 years agenda. 1 year transition, as we were expecting, that would lead us to the pact for the future. That's when the tribulation should start, right? And if we stop to think about it, we were thinking about the Christ being crucified on the year 30 or 31, and this would work very well. So we were expecting this. The whole year of 2024, all the feasts, all the signs, we were watching. And by the time we arrived at the fall feast and nothing happened, a huge frustration built up again, and we couldn't possibly understand how to get through this other than shift 1 more year ahead of us. Especially because when 2024 passed and we started in 2025, that's when we discovered the ultimate timeline. We understood through biblical evidence and historical evidence, pinpointing the crucifixion of Christ on the year 32 AD. And that's backed by astronomical evidence of the blood moon happening on Passover of that year. So we had biblical evidence, historical evidence, astronomical evidence, even religious, Jewish religion, rabbinical evidence here to point that the crucifixion of Christ took place in 32 AD. And that's where we are right now, still, thinking this is correct. So we shift from this to this. And the idea is, so the Pact for the Future started a 1-year transition, and by the fall of 2025, that's the limit for the rapture of the church to take place, right? This has once again passed, because we just passed the fall feast. Despite that this worked very well, because that would imply that the Revelation 12 sign was the beginning of the 7 good years, and precisely on the fall of this year, 2025, we saw Trump call for peace in the Middle East with a huge peace sign. I believe I do have it here. Yes, the huge peace in the Middle East, 2025, in the fall of this year. The President Trump, or Trumpet, signed peace in the Middle East with Arab nations. Huge peace, UN, Arab nations. How come this hasn't been, right? The beginning of the tribulation. It's hard, right? Hard to digest it. It's very hard to digest it, because we have been postponing, stretching this for so long already, right? 2022, 2023, 24, 25, and we're still here. We just passed the fall feast. We are at the end of 2025, approaching here 2026. And showing ahead here, just for you guys to see what's ahead. And it's interesting to see all of this, for you guys to understand where we were, how we believed, what we believed, and how we are where we are right now. Because this isn't just a a thought or an idea that has no basis, but it has a lot of rock solid information to back up all of this belief that we are still holding on, right? Holding the edge of our faith here, expecting the rapture, expecting the escape of this awful earth that we are living. So looking ahead here, there's nothing in 2026 as far as we are concerned about the UN or a pact or another peace call for the Middle East in 2026. Although we know that 2026 is the number value for the name of God, Yud Hey Vav Hey. So the number in Hebrew value for the name of God is 26. So 2026, yeah, it does make sense. Thank you, God, a minute, for pointing that out for me. And I want to show you guys the following here. So what we were believing up to the fall feast here of this year is that the fall feast should have begun the tribulation, because in the fall of 2032, right? The fall of 2032, just go back here. The fall of 2022, that's when the tribulation should end, because that's precisely 6 years, 7 years since, or 2000 years since the crucifixion of Christ, right? So let me show this then. If Jesus Christ died on Passover of the year 32, as we believe here on the ultimate timeline, so he died on the crucifixion, happened on the year 32, right? And Passover takes place there around April. I believe it was April of the year 32, right? So take this into consideration. If Jesus Christ died on Passover of the year 32, that means that the Passover of the year 2032 will already be the year 6000, and on the fall feasts of 2032, we turn to the year 6001. So if the Passover of the year 32 was already the year 4000 since creation, so Christ died on the year 4000, on the Passover of that year. That means that on the fall feasts of 2032, we moved not into the year 6000, but we moved into the year 6001. So it will be something like this. The year 6000 begins in the fall of 2031 and ends in the fall of 2032. And the year 6001 begins in the fall of 2032 and ends in the fall of 2033. All right? So, if this is true, and Christ did actually die in the year 4000, because it was the year 32, the middle of the year 4000 here, then this is correct. And if this is correct, we just passed the fall feasts, which should have taken us to the beginning of the year 6001. So the rapture didn't take place unless the peace in the Middle East was the beginning of the Antichrist tribulation, which, as far as we are concerned, it is not yet, unless the Jews are allowed to build the third temple. And if we see in 2026 the Jews being allowed to build the third temple, then we can consider indeed that the peace in the Middle East by Trump in the fall feast of 2025, that was the beginning of the tribulation. Therefore, we are in the tribulation. If the Jews are allowed to build the third temple, take this into consideration. As far as we know right now, in December 2025, this hasn't happened yet. So we cannot consider this to be the Antichrist alliance with many for 7 years. We cannot consider it yet. But so, as we cannot consider this and the tribulation hasn't happened, Christ would return on the fall feasts of the year 6001. And this would mean that the Millennium Kingdom would begin in the Passover of the year 6001, not 6000 precisely. Could this be the case? Yes, it could be the case, because we begin the world on the year 1, not in the year 0, right? It's the first year that Adam was created, not in the 0 year. There is no 0 year. So we can consider that, yes, on 6001 begins the Millennium Kingdom. But that should have, that implies that the tribulation should have already happened, because we are already in the fall. We're past the fall of 2025. So the rapture still didn't happen. The tribulation perhaps still didn't happen. And we have to keep on going. So let's think something else. If the year 4000 from creation began in the fall or the autumn of the year 32, it means that Jesus died in the Passover or the middle of the year 3999, which doesn't sound quite right. But still, we could possibly consider this. So he died 6 months before the 4th millennium. That could be it, because the 4th millennium began on the fall of the year 32. That means that in the fall of 2032, begins the year 6000, and that's the base for us to believe that the fall of 2032 is the year 6000, lasting until the fall of 2033. So it'll be something like this: fall 2032, the year 6000; fall of 2033, the year 6001. Right? This gives us a little bit of room to believe it here. And I just saw here a brother on the chat: Jesus was crucified on April 3rd of the year 33. You know, this, I don't know why you have this belief, but in order for this to take place, you would mean that God couldn't care less for a blood moon Passover of the previous year in order to justify a crucifixion of the Lamb on the following year that had no blood moon. You would have to understand that Jesus spent 4 Passovers on earth. So his ministry didn't last 3 Passovers, but 4. He died on the 4th Passover. Because we do have evidence here in Luke 3, verse 1, that John the Baptist started his ministry here after the year 28. And Jesus was baptized here on the summer of the year 29. So for him to die on the year 33, that means he spent 4 Passovers instead of 3. So there's many considerations for us not to look at the year 33 as a possibility of the crucifixion. Not only astronomical evidence, but there is historical evidence here to back up the year 32. The year 33, as believed by the Catholic Church, really has less sense or basis from the year 32. That's why it doesn't make too much of a sense. But let's just go back here. So if Jesus died in the year 32 on the year 3999, or let's just consider the chat here. If Jesus died on the Passover of the year 33, especially the 6,000 year, right? This still gives us a year or a more wiggle room to believe, right? And we just passed 2025, so we have to look at this. Why do I say that the maximum limit for the rapture of the church has got to be Passover 2026? Maximum limit to start the tribulation. Because from Passover 2026 to Passover 2033, that's the 7 years. In order for the tribulation to last 7 years, or a little bit less than 7 years, but in order for the Millennium Kingdom to start on the year 6000, if this is correct, or 6001, if this is correct, the tribulation must begin by or no later than the Passover of 2026. Because then what happens? On the fall of 2032, Christ returns to earth, destroying the Antichrist army and preparing to landscape the earth, right? Preparing the earth to receive the new Jerusalem from the skies. And then 6 months later, with the new Jerusalem here on earth, he is crowned King of Kings, Passover of 2033, and he begins his ministry there in the year 6000, if this is correct, or 6001, if the previous consideration is correct, right? Regardless, this has got to be the maximum amount. Because then in 6033, Passover, he ends the tribulation. That doesn't end with his coming to destroy the Antichrist, but ends when he is proclaimed King of Kings. And then he began his ministry, he began his 1,000 years of kingdom here on Passover 2033, starting on the year 6000 since creation or 6001 since creation. And that still works out according to this. The transition we could understand as being 1.5 years, 16, 18 months, right? It's not 2 years transition, but it is a 1.5 year transition, which does make sense still. 1.5 years is still 1 year. It's not 2 years. So this does make sense. And it is the maximum amount of understanding that we could have. Because if this does not take place, let me just consider this for you guys. If this does not take place, and we're still here by May 2026, take a look how odd it becomes for the tribulation to start on the fall of 2026, just 6 months later. If the tribulation starts in the fall of 2026, for example, that implies that it ends 7 years after in the fall of 2033, which then is the beginning of the year 6001, already considering that Jesus died in the year 3999, or if Jesus did die in the year 4000, as we are tend to believe, the fall of 2033 would begin the year 6002. And that does not make any sense for the Millennium Kingdom to start 2 years after the sixth millennium. This does not make sense, guys. I have to apologize here, but the Millennium Kingdom to start in the year 6002, it does not make sense. At most, we can consider 6001, which does make sense because there's no year zero, right? So it does make sense 6001, but 6002, that does not make sense. That is too much for us to hold on to. That will be holding into anything. If the tribulation is to start in the fall of 2026, it will take us to the fall of 2033. That means the year 2032, 2000 years after the crucifixion of Christ, didn't mean anything unless the tribulation is cut short by a year. So it is not 7 years tribulation, but it's 6 years tribulation. Because then he would come on the Passover of 2033, perhaps, and then he does nothing on Passover because he has to fulfill the fall feast to destroy the Antichrist, and then he waits until the fall feast, and then it doesn't make much sense. Do you guys realize this? So, as far as we are concerned, based on what we are looking here, this here is the limit for us. It's the maximum that we can possibly understand. The tribulation has got to happen no later than the Passover next year in order to end on the Passover 2033. If it passes, God forbids, if 2026, the whole year passes, 2027, guys, takes us to 2034. There's nobody that believes on a tribulation or on a crucifixion being on the year 34. Worse, even later. So we are at the edge here. We are at the limit. We are literally within months of the maximum that we can possibly understand as being probable for the rapture to happen before the tribulation, and the tribulation being the maximum amount of time that we can give for it to start is on Passover next year. Reminding you guys that next year Passover will be very important. For the Jews will fall on the 1st of April. The April Fool's Day will be Passover. Perfect for us to understand this. So it is something for us to consider. Indeed, the Hanukkah is an interesting feast for us to look. Although it is in the winter, there's no harvest in the winter. It will be odd for God to harvest the churches, a summer church on a winter. That would be very odd. Regardless, winter on the northern hemisphere is summer on the southern hemisphere, so who cares, right? The whole earth, you can harvest in the whole, you can harvest things in the whole year around the world. So we could pass it off. But there is a reason for us to believe this, and I don't think I could quite go after. I don't think I could keep on doing videos if we're still here after May 2026, to be honest, for you guys, because that would be too much for me to keep on doing. I would start to think that I got to do something with my life, right? I watch my life here the way that I'm watching right now, and to be very honest with you guys, I don't quite like it. I'm not in a place that I would have dreamed for me. I depend mostly on from donations from beloved brothers and sisters, from family members. I don't own a house. I don't own a car. I I have two kids to raise, and I get anxiety just to think of how I will be able to feed them. Sometimes it's hard. It's very hard for me. You guys have no idea how hard it is to have been believing this for so long. So it's very hard to have been hoping and to have this hope again and again and again being crushed. But I'm giving this here, this time frame here, a last shot, right? Because it has got to be it, right? We couldn't possibly be wrong. This all of this work that we have been doing for so long cannot be wrong, right? It cannot be in vain, right? I don't think that a God that is love, that has been watching us watch and expecting, I don't think that God that is love would let us to be let down so much so in order for us, the people that have been expecting him the most and giving his life to him, have been believing, not just knowing, but walking the walk, believing and releasing out everything from this earth, our dreams and visions, in our studying, our college. I left college to believe this. I don't think that God would allow us to be completely frustrated and humiliated and let down at the end. So the feeling that I am feeling is that it really feels like a lot. It feels like we've passed a lot, but perhaps this is the feeling that the people in the desert felt when Moses took 50 days to come back. And that's the day, right? The moment, that day, that's when Moses came back. So that's my hope. That's my true hope of this, because I don't think God would allow us to simply be, how do you put in the words, be thrown down, right? Thrown below. So that's my hope. That's the farthest that I can understand and expect. And I do see quite some interesting things. So Hanukkah is interesting. It will be for the Jews tomorrow up to the December 22nd. We could expect all the way there. The fourth day of Hanukkah is December 19th. There is some things related to the blackout happening on Christmas time frame or around Christmas. We could expect that. I hope it does. I hope we are all caught in the rapture in a few weeks. I truly hope it does. If we're not, we're going to look at Hanukkah in the true calendar, astronomically speaking, that will be falling on January. That will be the last great feast for us to look into. After that, we'll have to watch up the limit here. What happens? Why would God allow for nothing happens on a feast? If we're still here in this time frame, of course, we'll look at the Jewish Passover. Perhaps the tribulation doesn't start there, but the rapture does, and the rapture does start the tribulation. We were wrong. We'll look at the Jewish Passover and the true Passover in May. And after that, I'm out. To be completely honest with you guys, after that, I truly don't know anymore. So God forbid we reach there, but I truly don't know what we will do, what we can believe, and what to think about it after that point in time. That's the farthest that I could possibly have my human conscience and understanding to believe to reach. After that, 10 years or 11 years, even more, it's going to be too much for me. So I'll start doing something else. Perhaps I'll start, I don't know, I know how to speak, try to be an influencer. I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know, guys. I really don't know. But there's some interesting things. By January next year, the Jews will have 70 years of government, which I showed you guys there does make sense. 77 years of independence, 77 years of government. If the government is when we start to count, then 77 is the moment, because 84 is the moment that Jesus returns. That will be in January 2033. Interesting. We could expect that. And also this here, Skynet. Skynet is Starlink. We know that Trump and Elon Musk, they were together here on the beginning of their movement there, their government there. And Skynet from the movie Terminator is very similar to the Starlink, right? It's the internet in the sky or the link in the stars. It's the same thing, the same conception. The Skynet, they cannot be stopped. This internet that is around us, over us, that cannot be stopped. Or the artificial intelligence will use this link, this Skynet, in order to be everywhere, in order not to be stopped anymore. As soon as it reaches conscious, that will be Judgment Day. That's the whole storyline of the movie Terminator. And haven't we seen lately so much about it on the movies? So I do have some movies here for you guys to see. Before I talk about the movies, let's talk about the Genesis mission from the Trump administration, starting in November 2025 or 24 of November 2025. Basically, the mission Genesis or the project Genesis by Trump is the project that Trump wants AI to take over and advance AI systems all over America. And guys, basically, I won't read all of this, but you can search this out. The Genesis mission, you'll find this on the White House website. To summarize this Genesis mission here is a mission to turn AI, to grow AI to a point that it advances the American nation here to a point that it's going to be, I don't know, very important. The development of artificial intelligence, and it's called Genesis. This is exactly the plot from the Terminator Genesis. Remember, Genesis is Skynet. Take a look what this says about it. Trump gives a year for this to begin. A year. So on the November 2026, they will be already up and rolling. And for me, AI is going to be the image of the beast. This have to be the image of the beast, right? And AI, the image of the beast, functioning by fall next year, then it does gives us a lot of base to believe a rapture from now up to the limit there in February or up to April. But take a look what it says here. Let me put the subtitles here. I cannot pass this in order for copyright strikes not to take place, but Genesis will come online. And take a look. Remember, Genesis is Skynet. When Genesis comes online, Judgment Day begins. When Genesis comes online, Judgment Day begins. What is the Judgment Day? The Third World War, the artificial intelligence, the blackout, the rapture of the church, right? And the project Genesis is already up and rolling. I believe the first time frame they are watching is 30 days from this, so December 24th, exactly Christmas time, Christmas Eve. That's when it's going to be the first key date for this Genesis mission, but has 1 year in order for this to be up and rolling. The development of artificial intelligence. So the development of AI is called in this world the Genesis mission. And then the Trump administration began with Elon Musk that has Starlink, which is exactly the Skynet, the internet in the sky. And artificial intelligence is the Skynet that takes place over everything and begins Judgment Day. So it is too much for us not to consider this as something, right? It has got to be it, guys. It has got to be. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to expect. But this has got to be it, right? Movies showing the truth or showing or predicting the future with the name being called it. Genesis. When Genesis come online, Judgment Day begins. There's Starlink and Skynet, and they are together. They started together the government. There's this development of AI. Come on, it's too much. It's too much. It's too much, guys. I think this is it, right? That's why I'm stretching, or I'm taking this into consideration for us to have up to this April, May next year as a possibility, because it all matches. It is always in the last possible moment that God does things, right? He doesn't open the Red Sea when Moses just arrives there at the Red Sea and it opens and everybody just goes through. No, he waits until there's an army, a whole Egyptian army behind them, in order for them to be so scared, thinking they would die. That's when the Red Sea opens, right? After 50 days of Moses up in the mountain, when nobody believes that he's still alive, that's when Moses comes down. So there's this modus operandi, this motto of God uh, functioning like this, waiting for the last possible moment that he himself tells in the Bible. Will I find faith on earth when I return? I find fate on earth. That's what we are trying to hold on at the most that we can. Because it's been 10 years, guys, 10 years. For me, it's been a lot. I do have a family. I'm married. I started a family here, but I'm having trouble here too. I'm having anxiety. I'm having fear. I'm having anxiety. It's been hard for me to keep on doing this, right? Keep on doing this. It's been so hard. I'm Never mind. So not only Terminator Genesis here, we are seeing here and matching perfectly this development of artificial intelligence, but there's also this Mission Impossible from 2025, the final reckoning here. And it talks about AI taking over as well. So if you go here, so in the months since you evaded capture in Austria, every corner of cyberspace has been infested by the truth-eating parasitic AI known to us as the Entity. So, the plot of this Mission Impossible movie, that was very good, by the way. I watched it. It's very good. The first few minutes, I highly encourage you guys to watch this video here, because the first few minutes of this movie here I watched on the theaters, it was simply mind-blowing. For me, it was mind-blowing. So, this truth-eating parasitic AI known as the Entity, under his influence, uh, digital information has been corrupted all over the world, right? Let me just quickly just show here. AI does this, right? We are seeing AI do this. The image generation and the video generation from AI right now, ChatGPT and Sora and Google Vimeo, there are so many artificial intelligence right now that aren't still controlled by the enemy, but they are doing incredible things that could deceive. And they are deceiving many boomers, many people from uh, old generations. They are being deceived by the videos and the images by AI easily. And this will be, after this year of developing more AI, investment in AI, this will be impossible to distinguish from reality. This will be too much for even us to distinguish. And this is the plot of this movie here from 2025. So digital information has been corrupted worldwide. Nations and people no longer knows what to believe. Antagonism, aggression, and martial law are the new world order. Come on, guys. You guys know about this, right? We're expecting exactly this. We're expecting to leave this. So exploiting this paranoid atmosphere, the Entity has inspired a doomsday cult with acolytes devoted to righting the world of corruption, to human extinction. Guys, come on! This is the plot of this movie, but it's so close to what it will actually happen, right? And he said unto Noah, I will bring a flood upon the earth to destroy all of the children of the men. The entity will help them rebuild. These fanatics are secretly infiltrating every level of law enforcement, government, and our military, devoted to serving their digital master. Isn't this the image of the beast? Whosoever does not obey the image of the beast will be. Whosoever does not obey the image of the beast will be out, right? Will be out. So we're watching this. We're seeing the. I hope you guys watch this. I won't place it all everything here, but it is a movie. In the end, the good defeats the evil. Of course, we know that on real life, there's no spy that is a good Samaritan that will be able to sacrifice himself to destroy this entity. Of course, Jesus already did this, and he predict this, and he will win in the end. But there's no stopping this. There's nothing that can stop this Skynet, this AI development, this Skynet, this Starlink, this Genesis mission. There's nothing that will stop it, and it's all built for next year. So everything takes us to one consideration, guys. This has been a long journey. A long journey for me, a long journey for many of you. I know while many Watchmen began in 2020, 2021, 2022, I have been believing the world would end and we wouldn't be here since 2014 because I believed the end would come in 2015. My whole life has been living with this belief in mind. I couldn't make long-term projects because I believe this truly. And I'm living my life the way I am right now, depending on people, depending on support, depending on family members, depending on beloved brothers and sisters like yourselves that support us here through the donations link in the description. I have been doing this, and it's been a long journey already for me and for many that I know have been watching for so long. And I truly believe that this has got to be it. Because personally, I couldn't see myself one more year or in 2027 still doing this. Because it would go against my own belief that we discovered this timeline. Why would God not use a blood moon? There was a blood moon, I believe it was a blood moon tethered. Why wouldn't God use a blood moon? That the blood moon is the blood of the lamb. The sun is pointing the lamb, and the full moon is pointing Libra. So the blood of the lamb being uh, waved in the Libra scales, right? Why wouldn't God use a blood moon for the crucifixion and use a random 33 or 31 Passover that has no blood moon? Why would he do this? That's not the modus operandi of God. So has got to be it. So 32 takes us to 2032. And at most, the Antichrist does a covenant here in 2026 in order for it all to end by Passover 2023. So this has got to be it. And we have Genesis mission, we have Skynet, the we have everything to show here, right? we have all of this to believe. So that's the farthest that I can possibly go. And I do hope you guys understand because that's too much for me. I'm just a human, I'm not God. I haven't been since I started having kids and I started having to deal with small children. It's so hard. I haven't been the best of me. I believe that being a Christian while single, it's easy and it's the first level that you could get, the easiest level. Being Christian and having in marry and having two, right? Being married, that's the level two. It's very hard, much harder than being single. That's why Paul actually tells us. But the level three is being Christian, being married, and having small children. That's the third and most difficult thing that you could possibly expect from a Christian. And it has been so hard for me. You guys have no idea how hard it is every day here in my life. It's too much. It's too much. Sometimes I I have to just get away because man, it's too much. Too much. Screams and cries and mass and oh it's so much, guys. And it has been like this. It has been like this. So I'm gonna read a little bit of your comments here. Let me just pop out the chart, place it here, and let's read together a little bit of your comments here. I truly, I'm very grateful for all of you guys that have been watching and hoping with us and supporting us also and giving us hints, commenting here on the videos. You guys are amazing. You guys are truly brothers and sisters. You guys are the family that I wished we are all close together and we will be together in the skies once it finally ends, right? This world finally ends. Because most people in the world, friends, old family, people just when you start believing Christ and you start talking about the end, people just diminish you and they get away from you and you are apart from everything. We couldn't be able, we as a family were not able to be on a church because of our belief, because most churches, they are not talking about the end times. They want to make music and talk about the basic rice and beans there, right? The the basic salvation thing sometimes and usual things, but they always don't talk about the end times. And when you talk too much about the end times, when you express yourself about the end times, people get away. They see you with other eyes. And I truly believe that many of you also have felt this way and get through this perhaps on a daily basis. So there's no friends after you there's no old friends after you accept Christ, and there's even fewer friends when you follow the end times. So you guys here are very important to me. You guys have been my family here, right? So yeah, free speech not allowed. It's been depressing, and I wouldn't say my life is ruined because we are still alive, right? We haven't been a bum in the streets yet. We haven't been through what Paul has been through. We haven't been gone through what Chinese Christian and Middle East Christians are going through and African Christians are going through. But it is not being good. It's not being good. So time to consider the mid-trib theory. I will only consider the mid-trib once we realize that Israel has been allowed to build the third temple. That's the main thing that the Antichrist would allow the Jews to build. Stop putting your faith in yourself, man. Putting only Jesus. My faith is in Jesus, man. I don't believe in me whatsoever. In fact, I could even say that I kind of don't like myself. If it wasn't for Jesus, I wouldn't even be here. I wouldn't have this computer to even make videos, or I wouldn't know what to eat tomorrow. So Jesus has been in my life the support to beloved brothers and sisters that without it, I wouldn't be here at all. Brothers around the corner, it's not so much more time. Hallelujah. Amen. I truly hope this is it. I truly hope this is it. It's been hard for me too. My daughter lives in New Jersey, and the drones are flying overhead. They circled her for 2 hours last week. Wow. Yeah, the artificial intelligence, right? They are doing things like that. Maybe God just doesn't want us to know exactly day or hour. Maybe God wants to be ready at all times. And then just boom, he comes, surprise us. Well, he could do this, but why would he, right? Why would he just do a rapture in a random time for no purpose or no meaning based on all the typology that he places in the Bible? Because we don't watch our own times or our own hours or our own dreams. We watch basically feasts that he placed in the Bible, in the Word of God. So we watch his feasts. And it does make sense because his feasts have typologies for the rapture. It doesn't make sense for him not to use feasts for the rapture because he already placed it as typologies. So we are watching what he told us to watch. As the guy that doesn't let his house being taken, right? Because we were watching. So I don't know why would he do this, but if he does this, I truly expect not for him not to wait up to 2027 or 2028 for us to be in our lowest for him to do this. Have you looked into the 13 months calendar, which was the original calendar? I did, and I do believe that some years have the 13 months based on the lunar position. If I'm not mistaken, last year the summer had 2 months. That's why we are still 1 month ahead of the Jewish calendar because they fixed it for adding 1 month, but then on the summer of that year we had the 1 month, so they became already again wrong. We have to be close. I'm giving it till fall 2026. Phillips Barnett thinks World War III will start on the 11/11/26. Well, the World War III has got to happen after the rapture, right? And the fall will be too late for the rapture to take place. So I understand the concept, but by fall 2026 it will be too late for the rapture. Too late for the rapture. If the rapture happens on the fall, that means that on the Passover 2027, that will begin the tribulation, which takes us to 2024, which is way too late. Way too late, man. So I answered this one. But I totally get where you are, and I feel the same. Father now needs to say enough and said this. I truly believe he's proud of you, and you see the fruit of your labor and faith. Amen. I thank you, Sarah, for the words. I truly hope. I cannot lie. I have been seeing the fruits because I have been surviving here in Brazil through my faith here and the faith of many brothers and sisters, or not many, but a few brothers and sisters who support us here on the channel. Especially Lyndon and Larry LaFleur. I love you guys. You guys have been such an important people, family for me. And what you did for me here made us go past so much that I couldn't even believe that we would be able to go past. So you guys, God used you guys, Lindy and Larry here, as a beacon of light and hope for us, for our family. So I'm very thankful for you guys here for giving us the enough to go by here. Keep a watch for T. Corona Borealis. Agree wholeheartedly. We fly soon. I trust crazy things happening. Look up your nature dry night. All the objections you've raised with the year 33 have been explained and studied by theologians. And they still come up with 33. Well, I don't think 33 could be because there's no blood moon in 33. And that would be too weird for God not to use a blood moon, to use the year after the blood moon. That's the perfect lamb combination with The blood lamb, the blood of the lamb of the blood moon on Passover. That's too much. Why God would use a year with no blood moon on Passover for his his son's resurrection, the Lamb of God, right, being sacrificed. I have always wondered if the Tower of Jacob will be the sign we're about to go. Maybe. So yeah, it's already 8:14 here. I have to start the Portuguese video. But I thank you guys for all of the videos here. I thank you guys for all the comments, all the love that you guys place here. I truly hope that we live the next few months, guys, because we need to. We truly need to. And if you guys feel blessed by this video, if you guys feel the Holy Spirit calling you guys, the information for you to support us here is in the description box. We have a PayPal, we have a bank account. It's a US bank account, so you guys can just donate through there if it's easier for you guys. But PayPal also works. And every help that you guys gives us, it takes us it takes a weight from our shoulders here, an anxiety here that it's hard to shake it off, especially now that the times keep on going. It's hard. It's hard for us to keep on going without help or support. So if any of you guys can, and I'm not asking for you guys to do more than you guys could, of course, just if you guys can, the links are in the description. Every help here matters a lot here because we live in a terrible country. People here have been fleeing the country because communism here is strong. Basically, it's going to maintain next year. It's going to be harder next year because they are going to increase taxes here. I don't even know what to do. But every help that you guys give matters a lot to me, to my family, and takes a weight out of our shoulders here in order for us to keep on doing this job, this work that I have been doing for 10 whole years. So I thank you guys for everything. Thank you guys for the comment. I thank you guys to be with us here, to support us through prayers, to the comment session, to spreading the video and the information that we release here on the channel to people. I thank you guys for everything. And I truly hope that we leave here by perhaps this coming Hanukkah, this Jewish Hanukkah, tomorrow. It's a few weeks here, right? This few weeks, or on the true Hanukkah in January. I truly hope we leave by those dates there, or at most by Passover next year. I truly hope it does. It does make sense. There are some considerations that does make sense. 26 is the name of God. There's this Genesis mission, AI, and everybody talking about this. There's the Skynet, right? There's the 77 years of Israel government. Things still fit, and it does make sense. We are in the end. The feeling is that it's taking too long. We are feeling anxiety. We're feeling this agony that Moses is not coming back. It's been 50 days. Perhaps by the end here, it's right at this threshold that everything takes place. I believe this. I choose to believe this. I will continue to believe. I will continue to do videos, be with you guys here up to this time frame here. That is the farthest that I can go. I hope you guys understand. Maybe I will keep on doing videos, but about other things. Maybe I will use the channel that I talk about here, my family. I have this channel here that I present to you guys. It's not here. But there's this channel that I talk about my family. Perhaps I use it. I don't know. We'll see. But I really truly hope that we live by it. Amen. Maranatha, I hope that you're blessed. If you can, please bless us back by prayers, comments, or through donations. Everything matters for us a lot. And I hope to see you guys very soon, maybe on the next video, maybe in the kingdom of our God and Savior. Please be it. And we'll be here together watching until it ends, right? Until it ends. Maranatha, guys. I hope that you're blessed, and I hope that we meet each other there in the kingdom of our God and Savior Jesus Christ. Maranatha.